baby. I'm dying. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored. They did it.
Left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Hey guys, it's another episode of Spit and Fire with Racheal Blaze, and of course my guest host, who happens to be my son, Tarzan.
Yes, we're related.
We are related. And this is my good friend, Mike, who served in the military. He is a veteran, and so he's here to voice and talk about our topic tonight, which is masculinity crisis.
Good to be here.
So, yeah, you get, Did you turn your headphones so that he could hear?
Yeah.
Okay. Somehow we're missing a set of headphones. Bear with me. So I, as we wait for Pat to join us, and Ken, I'm not sure when Ken is joining us. I thought he was coming on at 6, but I'm sure he'll be with us shortly. Can we start with LaRue? We're just going to go through with everybody and their background. Can you start, LaRue?
Like first name or last name, literally?
Yeah. No, that's his first name.
Really?
Yeah, LaRue is his first name.
Oh, that's sweet.
Which happens to be our last name.
Imagine if you married into a family, it'd be LaRue.
Yeah.
That'd be so weird.
Yeah.
All right, well, yeah.
So, let him speak.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
LaRue Burley, professional MMA fighter. I grew up in Arizona, Florida. Played football my whole life, and then started fighting when I was like 27. Right now I'm in XFC in the finals for the Welterweight Tournament. That's the final fight will be August 6th.
You've fought on quite a few promotions, correct?
Yes. World Series, Bellator, and LFA.
Okay, I thought you did. I was looking at everybody's bios and stuff, so I was kind of stalking everybody's pages late last night. Go ahead, Phil. Tell us all about you.
Phil Daru, currently am a sports performance coach for combat sport athletes, football players, basketball, everything there. Business owner. I was a professional MMA fighter myself, played college football. I'm actually doing and pursuing a professional career, hopefully, in triathlon. So I'm actually going the other route. I'm going more endurance training. So did powerlifting, strongman, bodybuilding even, did it all. So now I'm just kind of figuring it all out for the endurance side.
Wow, that's incredible. I just saw a video on Instagram that you were training Timberland.
Yeah.
What is he like?
Yeah, actually, he's a hard worker. I mean, obviously, he wouldn't be where he's at now if he wasn't. But the one thing that I would say is he's very diligent. He's organized. He's on his diet. You know, he's been on a solid regiment for a good 2 years now. And we primarily work at his house, and I'll do more movement, more mobility type work with him. He also works with another strength and conditioning coach. And so we kind of mold each other's styles together to help him get where he needs to be and get him feeling better and living a healthier lifestyle. He's had some issues in the past, but now he has a newfound love in training. So it's cool to work with him. I also work with Kevin James, who's another animal. Actors, man, they're a different breed. This guy he'll train 2 times a day, and but he'll still be able to do things like, spend time with his family and also all the other media obligations that he has to do. He's actually currently right now on set playing Sean Payton in a new movie. So be on the lookout for that on Netflix.
Nice. Hey, Shaun, the Canadian Viking. I love it. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I found it. I'm running with it. Tell us all about you, Shaun.
Well, I'm a man, that's for sure.
Amen on that one.
I'm biggest thing is a lot of people know me originally for being a very involved dad. Kind of what first got me in a space of helping people. Been a business owner for almost 20 years between construction companies, personal training, fitness. Been doing mostly life coaching in the last 5 years. I help people become better humans, help them men man up, help people be authentic, go against the crowd. Really, I'm all about people being bold individuals, regardless of the crowd, standing true to who they are, and helping people learn how to do that and face adversity and know what's their mindset and help people dive into their subconscious and whatnot. So here I am fighting freedom fight in Canada right now as we see quite some stuff that I'm sure we might get into at some point. So here I am. Hear my voice.
We will never forget your voice, Shaun. You have the most distinct, hardcore voice. Have you ever had anybody tell you that your voice is just very distinct?
Yeah. Maybe.
You should be intimidating everybody that comes around you. I would be a little bit intimidated.
A lot of bass.
Yeah.
So the whole point of this show was I'm part of a group here in my county, and some of the women voiced their concerns about how come there are so many women who are standing up and fighting for rights and fighting for what's right and things like that, and how come there's not enough men who are willing to take a stand and fight like yourself, like Shaun, and like yourself, Phil. You know, I mean, where is the problem? What's happening? And so this was the topic that women wanted to hear, and they wanted to hear from alpha males. What can we do? Is it a problem where it's coming from the female side where we're taking over too much? Or is it that it's our food and GMOs and soy products and things like that that are ruining the male's testosterone? I mean, where does it start from?
Combination of everything. Yeah. It's always a combination.
100%. No.
So are we talking like all across the board that there's different things that happen, that transpire? I mean, we're all trying to figure out what can we do to get the men motivated. What can we get them to stand, and what do we do?
There's a lot. You got to look at where we've been going, right? Technology, making people lazy, roots, getting away from the outdoors. Promoting pornography on guys, just getting into that all day. Good products, the toxic masculinity bullshit, having men really, well, maybe what would have grown into alphas at some point, scared to stand up because they're trying to just go along and get along, right? You got so many things. It's on all fronts right now. I've had my people tell me my beard is toxic masculinity once upon a time. It's there's so much on it.
What do you think, Phil?
I think it goes back to parents too as well. You know, watching a kid's gonna watch his father either man up and be the man of the house, or succumb to the situation of the female telling him what to do or not giving him the stand to be a man. So it starts off with parenting, in my opinion, being sure of yourself, making sure that you are providing, being a stand-up man, you know, having virtue, and making sure that you are teaching this to not only your sons, but your daughters too as well. That's one thing that I see that needs help with, because I am a father, obviously. One thing that I'm teaching my son now is from the start. He's 6 years old, but I'm teaching him how to live in virtue and make sure that he knows his place as a man. And his mother is right along with me. So that definitely does help. Making sure that we help young men. I'm actually about to start up a charity for disadvantaged youth. And a lot of these kids that come from bad neighborhoods, and especially from the neighborhood that I grew up in, they don't have the ability to go to a male figure and give them some type of advice that can transcend them over into their adulthood. So that's the problem that you have there, is that you take young kids and you put them in this environment and they know no better. Nobody told me what I had to do or what I could do as a man growing up. I had to figure that out on my own. And that's unfortunate in this time. And we need to make sure as men ourselves that we're teaching these young individuals growing up so that we can change the concept of what's going on nowadays.
Because definitely the direction that we're going in is, I'm kind of getting a little nervous in the direction we're going right now. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, LaRue?
I think, like my man Phil said, it starts off with the children. It starts off that now, when I grew up, we were all younger. you had to be the best. Okay, you didn't get a ribbon for participating. Nowadays, they want to give all these kids ribbons and teach everybody's equal. No, you're not equal. Life is not equal. When you go to a job, if Jim sells more than Ray, he's not going to tell the boss ain't going to tell Jim to stop selling so Ray can catch up and make them equal.
Yep.
Life is not equal. Somebody's always superior, and it seems like society nowadays wants to teach everybody, okay, it's all the same. Everything like I don't want to say whatever floats your boat is what you do. So if you're gay, cool. If you're for transgender, if you're for women's rights, cool. I get that. I have no problem. But it's like society now wants to make everybody equal and say everything okay. It's okay to say it. It's okay to be it. But it's like they're trying to flaunt it. They're trying to dumb it down and take the masculinity from men, which I don't think you do. What you choose to do is what you choose to do. What they want to make everybody equal in a way that it can't be. Everybody can't be equal. There's always going to be somebody more superior. And to me, it seems like they're trying to wash it down and take away the alpha male by doing those things.
Yeah.
Maybe is there some confusion as to what is an alpha male? What is an alpha male? Maybe we should define what an actual alpha male is. Does somebody want to define that one?
For sure, protector, provider. No doubt about that. You're going to have those two right in there, 100%. I think somebody who can reflect upon himself, focus on self-mastery, and admit when he's wrong, that's a big thing, right? Somebody can step up and face their fears, no matter how big those fears are, and go against the crowd and do what's right. That's one of the biggest things for the greater good, at least for me, when I'm going against it. It might not even be what's been my best interest, but what's in the best interest of the people and family around me, community around me, and to protect and provide them and show them the way. Persevere no matter what. You get down, get your ass back up and keep persevering until you put yourself right where you want to fucking be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it also relies upon leadership, how you can lead from the front, lead by example in a sense, a dominating figure, somebody who stands out in front of the pack, who can take charge of a situation, who takes control of a situation. And so that's where we need teachers, we need coaches, we need mentors to be alphas. We need those individuals to step up and give these younger individuals, like I said before, a sense of understanding of how this should be ran. And if you're ever going to stop the madness of what's going on nowadays, then you have to make sure that you look after the future. But I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse right here, but again, I would look at it from that perspective, and then I would look at it from, okay, now we have to look at the guys that do have families, that do have, kids, and they do have wives, that they aren't able or necessarily have the balls to stick up for themselves. And so that's where individuals like ourselves, we need to help mentor those guys, right? Get them situated in what they need to do and understand their masculinity is not a crutch. It's actually a gift. So.
What about you, Laru? How do you define an alpha male?
Pretty much, basically what they said. Like, it's a person, a man that knows when he has to stand up and do what he needs to do. That like to teach, like you got to be able to be a leader. You got to be able to know your faults. You got to be able to see when you're wrong. You got to be able to correct those. You got to be able to stand up for your mistakes. But you also got to be able to show that you can get things done. You got to move forward with things. You got to be strong about it. You can't just let people roll over you.
Mm-hmm.
Like the poll question that I came up with, every show I come up with a poll question, and I said, are men being emasculated due to society pressures? Do you think that's what's happening right now?
I do believe that there is an effeminate trend going on because of the fact that, let's face it, a lot of manly men get reprimanded for their acts of virtue, their acts of manliness. People want to be so dainty and want to be careful of what they say. They don't allow us to speak our mind anymore. And everybody is okay. We want everybody to be fine. Everybody has to be nice. And that's an issue because at the end of the day, sometimes, just like we say in alpha male, you're going to have to be a dickhead. You're going to have to be an asshole. It is what it is. And if you don't like that, well, then you have to look at it from that perspective and be like, okay, if you don't like that, go the other way, because this is going to be me and I'm going to be me no matter what. So I don't want to say beta, but with that mindset of a beta male, we need to kick that aside, start to look at what we can do as males to increase our ability to stay fortified and making sure that we have the ability to increase or progress our manliness through the way we act, the way we talk, the way we walk, everything.
100%, I agree. There's definitely an attack on masculinity. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, I see it on all fronts. And then, you got everybody, well, not everybody, you got a lot of people, on social media posting content not to actually make an impact and then affect people's lives, but more be light, right? So going to go along with the crowd. We see a lot of that happening. That's why I'm big on just being bold regardless of the crowd and standing true to who you are. Like you said, my man here, being a leader no matter what, and being able to reflect. And I think every fucking alpha is going to have a pretty big ego, but they need to be able to keep that in check and use it and not have it use you. That's a big one on that standpoint.
It takes a level of fortitude and temperance, in my opinion. I talk about virtues a lot, but it takes that to actually get away from social media, to actually cleanse yourself of that, right? I do 48, 72-hour fast, not to get leaner. Well, that's a side effect, right? But for the most part, it's to put myself in a position to clear my mind and get stronger mentally. So whatever that is, actually, I'm going to start now. This Sunday, I'm not using my phone at all. I'm actually going to turn this thing off, right? I'm doing this thing now where as I go to bed, I'm not letting this thing consume me. I'm going to put this thing on a leash, put it on the charger and put it outside in the living room while I go to sleep. And I, go old school and get an alarm clock, like, how we used to do it. Yeah.
Yes.
That's it. That's a good thing to do. I actually do that for myself, my clients once a month, where we take a whole 24-hour break from any external source. No books, no podcast, nothing. It's just you and a journal, and just go with your thought. What comes to mind, and a lot of people go fucking crazy with that.
I love it, man. I love it. We got to hook up. We got to hook up after this, man. I'm definitely want to talk to you.
See, that's why I wanted to have you guys on, because this is all about connection and connecting like-minded people. Mike and I had a conversation prior to this, and you had some comments, didn't you? You had some things that you wanted to say.
Yeah. I've got.
You have, first of all, you have a military background. It's the Army, right?
Yes.
Okay. And he's not active. You are now a veteran.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had some questions that you wanted to talk about, some things.
Just some things that I noticed, some questions for some of you guys.
Ken's going to be joining us a little bit later,
okay.
And Pat's out to dinner with his daughter right now, so he'll be joining us in a little bit.
Do you think that the cultural shift, the cultural shifts impact upon aggression or trying to destroy the aggression in men impacts men's ability to achieve their goals? Were you guys able to hear me?
Definitely dumbs it down and slows down the process. Like I said before, everything is now, they want everything to be so equal. It slows everything. You got to have a father figure or somebody to teach you. Like, that's not it. Like, I teach my kids, they play football. And everybody wants them, okay, well, no, he's good too. He should play just as many plays as you should. No, he shouldn't. He's not as good as this kid over here. He's not going to play that. So you got to teach these kids from the jump now that life is not equal. And if you sit there and try to let it be equal, you'll forever be in the back of the pack. You got to stand out and stay standing out and stay aggressive. Otherwise, you'll never get to where you want to go. If everybody just sits back there, like the millennials, they want everything given to them. I teach my kids, you can't have everything given. You got to go out and earn it. I grew up poor. I didn't have nothing. But as I grew up, I figured that I got to go out there and get it. If I was set back weight, I'd still be living check to check. It's definitely a problem. It starts with the father figures now. You have to start teaching your kids and that they have to be aggressive. They got to be hungry. You got to go out and get it. You got to work for it.
That was the other thing I was going to say. Like the lack of, there's so many single moms out there, and there's a lot of inactive dads out there. Do you think that's a big problem too?
Oh, massively, absolutely, huge. That's one. Like I was saying, one of the first things that got me in the online space was promoting being an involved father. You know, I do a date night with my daughter every 2 weeks. Whether usually, you know, I light a couple hundred candles all around the house. We have a nice dinner, do a dance and bonfire, whatever. And I make a point maybe once a month, once every couple months to record that and promote it and show people, hey, you got to set that example and you got to be a strong figure that's also compassionate and caring, but as well bold and somebody that can, you know, look up to somebody who holds strength and honor very, very high. And we're really lacking a lot of that. It's sad to see. I was hoping with new ages coming, we'd see more men stepping up, but it seems to be going the opposite. And with the light that's coming today, it's shining a light on how weak most men are right now, and it's really infuriating, actually.
Yeah, I think also with that, we talk about aggression, you know, and you have to look at aggression in a form of controlled aggression, and that's really what an alpha is. You know, it's not some maniac just kind of going all out and you know, causing havoc. The goal for us is to be control of the situation. When something does arise, whether it be, you know, an attack on an area that you're in. And I do this, I make this a priority, honestly. If I'm with my family or if I'm even with just anybody in my circle. And I know this sounds a little crazy, but, you know, when I walk into a restaurant, right, I'm going to sit and I'm going to face the door.
Yep.
Right? I'm going to make sure that I'm watching over everything.
100%.
And if something does, quote unquote, pop off, I'm going to have the ability to stay controlled, stay in my head, and then put out aggression, you know, basically streamlined to that individual or those individuals that are trying to cause harm in that situation. So for that, you know, we talk about aggression. That's where men have to understand the difference between just being a maniac and, you know, yelling out and trying to go crazy, and just being controlled and being that person that can take care of business, but still be in control of their environment.
Sweet. Adam does that every time. Yeah.
Do you want to ask a question?
Oh no. I'm actually enjoying this. I'm enjoying
my son
everybody's point of view.
He's really listening to this because, I mean, a little history about me. I'm a single mom of 3 children, and none, you know, no dad is active in their life, and so. You know, I can't take the credit as being a dad because I'm a female and I'm very, very feminine. So, but, you know, Dustin, you know, has expressed that so many times that, you know, a woman can teach a young man so much. And it's like, how do I teach my son the rest? How does he learn how to be a strong alpha, especially in this world? What kind of suggestions would you give to my son?
Is he the oldest?
No,
he is
middle
the
child.
Is there an older brother?
There's an oldest one. He's 28 and he still hasn't figured himself out. And I'm
kind of been going off.
I've tried everything, and he just kind of wants to do his thing. And I said, okay, I'm letting you do your thing. So basically, Dustin is the mature one out of the boys.
That's a good question. My father died when I was 7. I had 2 older brothers that were 7 years and 9 years older than me, but they were always out in the street. They would always be like boys and girls. So they were always gone doing something. So it was me and my little brother for the most part. I took interest in the men that I seen doing stuff like football. Like our family was football oriented. I grew up playing football. So with that being said, my father figures were always, or not father figures, but people I looked up to in a father figure way were always people I looked at. My favorite football player, I would look at that. In order to get that, I knew I had to strive to be like that. I had to teach myself that, okay, everything's not given to you. So I worked out I would work hard for myself on my own. So with doing that, I don't know. I back in my era, everything was kind of I would say, I don't know, things came, I had common sense. Like nowadays you see these kids do things and well, he didn't know better. Well, I grew up, I knew better.
Mm-hmm.
I knew what was right and what was wrong. Even though I was running around doing wrong things, I knew what was right and wrong. So with that, because I focused a lot of my attention on just playing sports and trying to stay out of trouble. And by doing that, that's how I got the mindset to always be better. Because I would come across kids that were good at sports, but my thing was, okay, how do I got to get better to beat this guy? How do I get better to beat this kid? And I always found a way. So I just stayed hungry in myself and trying to be better than the next person that was good.
Yeah. So I would give you a couple of things, and that goes perfect with the rule. Like, I grew up playing football myself. I'm from South Florida, so that's all we do, right? We had goals, right? We had, even though we were young, and I don't want to speak out of turn, bro, but I kind of get what you're saying. I knew that there was one thing that I needed to do to get to where I wanted to be, and that was work my ass off, stay diligent, and be consistent. And so I put together habits based upon the goal to get me to that end result. Even though at the end of the day, my end result was the NFL, an astronomical goal, me being 5'8", by the way, I still didn't care. The goal was the goal. Now what I did was I put my head down and I kept moving forward, right? So the habits allowed me to stay consistent as opposed to having to worry so much about what's going to happen 20 years from now, right? So if you can develop habits based around the goal, it'll manifest itself each and every day. So we got to make sure that you have a goal set. And it doesn't have to be your overall goal. It can be a yearly, monthly, weekly goal even. I even have goals right now each week till this day. And it's usually 4 to 5 goals that I go through and I knock them out every week. And those things compound over time. So now I know, okay, I'm getting things done. And when you become productive like that, you get more confidence to keep moving forward and keep progressing. So you check off everything that you have as far as your goal set. And as that compounds, you're like, okay, I'm getting better at this thing. But it all started with you understanding the process and having habits aligned with the goal. That makes sense?
Yeah.
That's on point. That's where I'm at. I always live life backwards with everything I do. I look at the end. I'm like, and one of the great things that I help people do that with, looking at the end on who you want to be, not just what you want to accomplish, is I like a eulogy exercise. If you ever heard about it, you literally pretend yourself dying and take a immediate family member, extended, somebody from the community, somebody you work with, one of your best friends. What do they go say at your funeral? No filter, right? And that's when they speak about that, that's gonna help you understand some things that maybe you wish they said. Maybe you wish you were that person, right? Live life backwards and then work yourself back from there on 20-year goals, 10, 5, and then break it down to the critical tasks to do every day. And right now we have so many resources available when you're talking about, what direction to put somebody into to come into that role, whether it's social media. I'm huge on books. I got a library behind me here. Some things like Relentless, Can't Hurt Me, Extreme Ownership. Some of these books where these extreme alpha males have laid the footwork foundation for people to follow and get behind. And then put yourself in uncomfortable positions, right? Put yourself in there. Go join a boxing gym, get into whatever sport. Put yourself in a construction job that you have no experience in. Get yourself fucking hurt and smashed up and learn the hard way. Get back up and then find out what is missing inside of me that I need to find and chase down and create that passion and talent and then share it with other people. And that's, bring it down to protecting and providing at that point from there.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah, Justin got himself heavily involved in bodybuilding. He's done quite a few competitions, and he's definitely gotten a lot bigger in size.
Yeah.
I tell him, like, slow down there, buddy.
The food will do that to you.
Yeah, he's been very diligent. He's ever since a little boy, he's been very goal orientated. If he ever wanted something, like if I couldn't afford, I wasn't rich. I was a single mom. And so I couldn't afford to go out and buy the latest games and go and buy the new PlayStation. This boy went out and he shoveled driveways in the wintertime. Freezing his butt off, making money shoveling driveways just to earn the PlayStation because I couldn't afford to do it. So he's, now that he's in his manhood. He's now a man. He's 24. And, you know, anything to help him become an alpha. You know, I want him to be a strong alpha male because I see we're losing it. I don't see very many alphas left. I'm like, where are all the alphas? I always make that comment on people's posts. I'm like, where are the alphas? Where it's a lot of women that speak up and talk on these posts. Where are the men? There are no men talking. If it's a man talking shit.
Yeah.
Can you relate? I read. I don't just look at the posts. I read at what people's comments are because I want to see what's going through people's minds. And I'm like, I'm blown away at the shit that some of these men say.
Well, it's because they're inadequate. They're talking shit about themselves, but they can't reflect on it, so they're putting it on you, putting it on these people you're seeing, right? And that's where that's coming from. Yeah. One thing I can say, 24 years old, a great place to start. This shirt right here, 75 hard. Go do that. That'll help you step it up 100% by Andy Priscilla. That's a good place to get a direction on that front. Mental toughness 100%.
That's amazing.
Check that out.
That's amazing.
Where's my notepad?
You had another question, didn't you? Mike was up doing some research on you guys and he had some questions. I just want to make sure he gets an opportunity to ask you the questions too. I tend to take over the show.
Hey, I'm an open book, so you go ahead.
Same here, man. Same here. Whatever you guys want to do.
You know, one of the biggest, I'm just going to say one thing. One of another alpha male that I think is amazing is Sean Whalen. Mm-hmm. And he just talked about some things too. I mean, I actually screenshotted it and he was like, grow the fuck up. Your wife wants a man and a king and a leader. She didn't marry you to change your fucking diapers and coddle your ass. I love the shit he says. Like he just keeps it 100. He does not care.
Doesn't sugarcoat anything. That's like me. You know, I'm not a fucking donut factory. You come here to get the straight goods and make shit happen. You want to go get a donut, go somewhere else, right? Like there's no sugarcoating here. But yeah, Sean puts out some good content for sure.
Yeah, he gave a whole list and he was just like, some of y'all have this game backwards, want to know why you get in trouble for doing shit or why you need to ask her permission to make a decision or buy something. And he says, because you have lost your role as a leader and king, you've relinquished your masculinity to her and literally need to ask her if you can be a man.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that happens a lot nowadays. And it also comes from the inability to understand their role as an individual, as a male. They look upon it, and a lot of them, again, it goes back to when they were younger, right? So a lot of them may not have fathers, may had a father, but wasn't really a father. He was there, but he wasn't there. And so that trickles down. And then you have these young males that have mommy issues, and then they look for their significant other to fill that role of what their mother was. Mm-hmm. So now it goes down the line. And then those people have kids, which they shouldn't have kids because they're not capable of it. And then they teach their kids the same thing. And this is where you have that, that rolling effect of demasculinated males and feministic males, I should say, effeminate males that think that they're doing the right thing by being nice and coddling and all that. Women don't want that, right? Mm-hmm. My wife gets mad and she just I just hug her. I'm like, listen, come here. I hold her close and let her feel the strength that I have, and then she starts to melt because women want that. They don't want another female. They want a male. Even though she may seem like she doesn't, she does.
I'm a female and I can relate to that. Yes. And I can tell you that some of the relationships I've had, it sucked because I had to coddle myself. And what I was looking for was exactly what you were saying. Give me a hug. Let me know that like you're here. You're strong. I want the strength. Do I want to go run to my best friend and talk about what's going on? Not really. My best friend should be the person I'm with, right?
Yeah.
That should be my best friend.
Yeah.
What do you think? Did you have another question? Because I kind of interrupted you and I didn't want to. I'm sorry. I have these thoughts in my mind. I have to get them out because otherwise I'll forget.
I'm the same way. It's all right. Sean, I did a little background on you, and I see you. I noticed that you've addressed the problem of instant gratification that the social media has brought upon us. And I was wondering if that instant gratification, that not having to, at least at some level on the social media, not having to work for even connecting with people, if that at all can impact or contribute to a lack of masculinity.
Yeah, 100%. I think so. Absolutely. You know, one of the biggest things, like conversing, especially in an environment of more manly men, let's say, or even masculine women, where you're going to have a little bit of roasting, you're going to have people calling you out on your bullshit. It's humbling, right? And you need that. When you're just doing that on social media, you know, people just block you or ignore it, right? Just escape from it, hide under their keyboard, right? Not actually feeling that energy in person. So I think that's a huge thing. That instant gratification, that's a big problem in a lot of friends, right? Most people, that's why you see so many bullshit relationships and just even depressed millionaires and billionaires, people looking for happiness elsewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody responsible for your happiness but you. And that comes from within, from becoming your best and doing your best every day and chasing your passions and becoming somebody who can be their best and help other people become their best. And without that human interaction, that's huge. And that's why, you know, we see that attack on that right now with social distancing. That's why I'm completely against it from day one. We need that. And
yes,
you have those people who are like, oh, that guy's an asshole, you know? Was he an asshole? You know, you think he was an asshole because he was roasting you, he said something, or he said it right direct instead of sugarcoating around it. But really, he's doing you a favor because he's building skin. He's building tough skin on you. He's building character resolve, and he's humbling you. So you can get your ego really progress forward. That's what I see on that question you asked, man.
Man, and to piggyback off that, it's funny because I was just at the gym, right? And a friend of mine who works with us, I've known him since high school, right? And he walked in the gym, and I've seen this before. I seen this a couple of days ago, and he's gotten significantly bigger, and not in a good way, right? We're talking about he's a fat ass right now, right? So as he walks in the gym, I automatically, without even saying hi, I say, man, you're big as shit. What are you doing right now? What is your issue? And without him saying anything else, he goes, okay, let me get on a program.
Yep.
So he didn't cry. He didn't get offended. He didn't leave. All right, I get it. What do I do? Right. And I'm not going to call him out, but he knows who he is. Right? So what I was saying is we have thick skin, right? We, as males, we think with our brain. With females, they think with their heart. And no disrespect, but that's the truth. So when I get into an argument with my wife, I'm not thinking like she's thinking checkers, I'm thinking chess, right? So I may disconnect myself from the situation because I know how to handle it and stay calm in the midst of chaos. That's what a male does. What a female wants to do or does, because she's a female, she wants to get back at you. She wants to argue. And that's cool. You can argue. I'm not doing it because I don't argue, right? Same thing goes for when, I know I'm getting off topic, but this kind of.
No, this is great.
So we were out at an event. My wife, a couple of my friends, and there was a situation that happened a couple of rows down, and something broke out, a little fight, a little skirmish, whatever. And for me, my first initial thought was protect what's in my circle, right? Her initial thought was to get the hell out of there, which is fine. That makes sense, right? As men, you have to look at not just yourself, but the people that you are securing, the people that you are protecting.
Bingo!
And then again, like I said, that will help you control your aggression if that risk of injury or risk of attack comes near your space. I learned that I actually got way better at this when I started training mixed martial arts. I was a kid that grew up in the streets, that fought a lot, had a lot to prove, had a big ego, didn't have a male figure like that in my life. And then all of a sudden, I started to learn how to actually fight and to fight every day in the gym. You think I want to do this outside the gym? No, but, and you know what I'm talking about, LaRue.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but the good thing about that is that gives you like self-assurance. You're confident in yourself. If this does happen, I know I can handle this stuff. So that's where like men have to, and young boys need to get in something that's going to give them confidence, and not that false confidence where they have to bow their chest up and peacock out and try to look a certain way. This is where you get those guys that, you know, want to be alpha males, but you know in their heart they're really not. And you can see it, right? The ones that are, they don't have to show it. You can feel it.
LaRue's got something to say up there. I see.
No, absolutely. He's right about that. Like, I get that all the time. See, I live in Arizona, okay? Phoenix is a rough part, right? So every time I go to Phoenix, I feel like there's always a dude trying to size me up. Like, bro, if you don't get your ass back in your car and go on about your day, you're going to get something put on your ass that you didn't want. Like, it's not that serious. I get it a lot. Growing up, I was a pretty boy. So everybody wanted to pick on the pretty boy so I could fight, because I would always fight. And then, so eventually, by the time I got like the junior high and high schools, like I get in 1 or 2 fights a year, and people leave me alone. They be like, "Don't, you can fight over there, leave me alone." But like now, like he was saying, you get that instance like where like I go to the gym, so I have that confidence. I'm not worried about being in the streets. I'm not worried about when I go out, somebody's gonna try to do something. But when they do, I like look at them like, bro, go on about your day. Especially like you get dressed up, you go out, try to have a nice dinner, and some guy wants to have an attitude, or you go out for the evening and some guy wants to be tough. Like, bro, I didn't put on nice clothes to come out here and fight. Go on about your day, man.
Yeah.
Because they want to try to be something or try to prove something for what? Don't let these people know you. Don't even care about you. All they're going to see is you get beat up, and they're going to talk about you, and next time they see you, they're going to laugh. Like, go on about your day. But I totally agree with what he's saying, because it absolutely is true.
Yeah, I agree with you guys on that. I came up with a system that I do when I go out now, and that happens is ever since the 2, when I grew out the beard, it seems like guys always want to step on me. And I took a little shift from when I was younger. Now when they do that, I call them sweetheart, and I pretend like I'm gonna be real interested in them, and kind of like the type with the habit. It'll be a little bit under my control. They back off real quick.
You're too big to do that, man. That's
I'm like
with too much of a deep voice, man.
I know. Phil, have you seen his shoulders? I'm like, how?
I've seen the
Your
picture.
shoulders are like wide, like they're just thick and wide. I'm like, holy crap! How did you do that, Shaun? My God.
You know what? Those traps. Everybody's like, "Hey, Shaun, how'd you get those traps?" I haven't worked out my traps for 6 years, but I started a landscape construction company when I was 17. Right when I got out of the slammer after a little position, I was like, all right, I got to switch this around, and it took me about 5 years to realize you could rent equipment, and I used to do everything by wheelbarrow, and probably I think I added it up one time. I can't remember, a couple 100 million pounds of rock by wheelbarrow in over a decade. So that's where those traps came from.
I like
Wow.
Now it's a problem though. Everybody's like, how do you do them? I don't work them out. It throws everything off. I can't touch them. If I work them out, I'll have no neck. It's gone.
Oh my gosh. Did you had another one, didn't you? Did you have any more? I just want to double check and make sure.
Yeah, I like
to try to give everybody an opportunity to say something. My son's probably going to be quiet. Are you going to ask any questions?
Yeah,
I mean, you've got these amazing alpha males here.
As to like, all right, LaRue, right? Yeah,
LaRue. Yeah,
all
you
right.
can't forget that.
Yeah,
name.
I'm like, all right. So you said you went from playing football to going into fighting. Now, did like any of the fights start on the football field, and then you're like, oh, I'm pretty good at this, I'm gonna transition into like, or
No.
is it just?
No, not at all. Actually, I was playing arena football, and arena had folded, so I was done. I came back home, I was working. I was literally playing basketball in the gym and working out. And my best friend, who's like my little brother, I call him my brother, he started doing Muay Thai. So he was like, LaRue, come hang out with me at the gym, come train. Just come hang out and just train with me. So eventually I was like, all right, cool, I'll come in there. So I went in there, and I went in on, I don't know, the 1st of July. Literally, July 31st, I was in a cage fighting. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I barely knew ones and twos. Barely learned how to throw the hook right. And they seen that I could fight pretty good, so they were like, well, put them in what they call a smoker. It's an amateur fight, but since it's not sanctioned, it's not 3-minute rounds, it's 2-minute rounds. And they put me in this cage, and they kind of bamboozled me because I'm like, what the hell's a smoker? They're like, oh, yeah, it's just a sparring session. Okay. I get to this event, and all these people here watching and shit. I'm like, what the hell? I swear on my both my dead parents, at the end of the first round, it's only 2 minutes, I felt like my legs went to Walmart. Like, if it was at the gym and it was just us training, I would have set my ass down. But I couldn't. And so I had to keep fighting. But that's how my whole fighting career started. I was literally in training 30 days. I did another one, and then literally a year later, well, 6 months later, I went amateur, and a year later exactly is when I went pro. I literally wasn't doing it. It had nothing to do with football. I was playing basketball at the gym and decided to go try to mess around and hit the pads.
I think we lost him.
Yeah, might have.
Yeah. What's going on, guys? Dean, I mean, I used to have Dean Thomas used to.
Well, good thing I'm here.
I was like, yo, we're just going to have a conversation.
You just lost Racheal. I just for a second, I'm like, wait, we just lost Racheal. Oh, I hope her equipment didn't.
Can't lose the host, man.
Well, good thing the producer to make sure everything was charged.
Yeah, there you go.
But not like LaRue, like you were talking about some of the things that you're going on with you. What's going on with this fight, man? Like you're about to fight for 25 G's for XFE, right? What is what's going on beyond that? Is there like title implications? Is there a contract in line? Or are you going to be going elsewhere? Like what might be going past that?
I thought it was for the belt, but I guess. Which doesn't make no sense to me because whoever wins this is first in line for a title shot. But if you don't have a champ, who the hell am I supposed to fight? That don't make no sense.
Whoever their golden boy is, right?
Well, their golden boy is the dude I'm fighting. But if after I beat him, it's like, well, they don't have a champ right now, so who am I supposed to fight for the belt? So that part don't make sense to me. Yeah. But after this, I'm supposed to have a contract, or I start off like at I don't even remember, I'm 8-8 or 10-10 or something like that, and supposed to have a title shot. But it doesn't make no sense if you don't have nobody holding the belt now. That's what I don't get.
Where are you training at right now? You still in Arizona?
Yeah, I train at Power MMA.
Gotcha. Good,
with like Ryan Bader and CB.
Yeah, gotcha. I know this. Yeah, I like those guys. Tough individuals, man. Good luck on the fight, bro. Good luck on the fight.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
So how's Ryan doing out there? I know he's kind of the guy you're working with. Are you guys working on something special for this fight?
No, not really. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, man. Ryan to see both of them is like fucking wrestling because I'm on 170, so I'm like 186 right now. So wrestling with them is like fucking wrestling baby gorillas. I swear, like God, the motherfuckers are strong as shit.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not working on nothing special for the fight. Like the way I watched the dude fight Nash, I'll give it to him. He seems like a tough guy, but I think it's gonna be a fun fight. I'm gonna put something on him.
They're back. Hold on, let me get my.
I am so sorry, you guys. I don't know what happened. I mean, everything was plugged in, and then all of a sudden the computer shut off, and I'm like, oh my god. Okay, so. I probably missed everything you were about to say, LaRue. This is not good. I've never had this happen. Never had it happen.
What was the last thing you heard?
Now I can't remember because I was so trying to get everything plugged back in. I don't know what happened. How embarrassing.
You were talking about the fight right when you got to the fight.
From football to fighting and.
Like I said, say it again.
You said, I think you said June 1st you went into the gym, and then what was it, the end of June?
Yeah,
you had your first fight?
July 1st, I started training. And then by July 31st, they literally had me in a cage fighting. Just talking about they bamboozled me because they told me it was like they said they call it a smoker. I was like, well, what's a smoker? Because I don't fight, so I never even heard of this stuff. So it's like, oh, it's like a sparring session. Well, you get there and it is a sparring session, but then you got all these people coming to watch, and you're like, this ain't a sparring session. I'm fighting a dude from another camp. So clearly, this dude's trying to whoop my ass, and then I find out this dude's been training 6 months. I've been training 31 fucking days. Like,
you won though, right? No.
Like, I wasn't like, luckily I won. Luckily I broke his nose and won. But after the first round, I was so damn tired. If it would have been the gym, I would have set my ass down. I was gassed. Like, my legs were gone. I was like, if I do this again, I got to start running because this shit ain't gonna work. But I did like 2 smokers, and then like 6 months later, I went and turned amateur, and then I was like, well, if I'm gonna punch people and I'm gonna get punched, I'm not gonna do it for free. So I just turned pro. I'll figure it out from there, and then rest is history.
Would you do bare knuckle?
Would I? You know what? I had the interest, but I probably wouldn't do it. I don't know. I hurt my hand a lot boxing. To do bare knuckle, and then the injuries that I hear about it, like your hands are always like swollen and sore after the fights, which I would get. It's bare knuckle. You got some tape on it. I don't think I'd be able to do it as consistent. I'd probably fight, be out there half a year trying to heal my damn hands.
Yeah.
So I probably not bare knuckle.
Yeah, that's smart.
Can I say one more thing about what Shaun said? I just love Shaun. Shaun Whalen I'm sorry, I just love him. I have to say one more thing. Okay, so for all the guys that are listening, he says, step the fuck up and get your mind right, your body right, and your money right. We got a lot of lazy men out there. Can I say it? We have a lot of lazy men out there. I said it twice.
No, you're right. There's a lot of lazy motherfuckers, boy.
You can pick off with your question about the instant gratification, right? You got so many people used to that, and they fucking, they get all these flashy things they see, and they dive into it, try to, get a dream, go after it, but then it gets fucking tough and they give up right away. They get so used to it being instant, right? And then that's where that lack of confidence comes from, that lack of manliness in all fronts. But right, where does confidence come from? It comes from the memory of winning, doing the things you said you were going to do. So when these people get used to that and it gets hard and they back out, fucking lazy people just building more, and then they reproduce, and here we go.
Oh my God, and they got babies everywhere.
The pursuit of your passion, it comes into play. If you don't know that, if you don't have self-awareness about it, and you actually you try to pretend like you want something because it's materialistic or it's something that you've seen on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you have to look at your true purpose, right? So if it comes down to that, that's going to allow you to work harder because it is actually your purpose. It is it is the talents that you've been given, and you're working that diligently. But it first comes from self-awareness and then finding your true purpose, so that, again, all that time when it feels tough, when it feels like, well, most of the time, 90% of the time, I don't feel like doing most of the shit that I have to do, but I do it anyways.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
So with that, it's because of the fact that I know my purpose and I know exactly what I need to do to get there and make it fulfilled. So, yeah, I hope that makes sense.
That's a huge one. Find your purpose. Yeah, I always try to help people do that because that's massive. Yeah, and then we're here to take our talents and our passions and put them together, combine them. There's your purpose, and help other people become their best. Right? Put that into other people through what you're talented and passionate about.
For sure.
I was just going to ask you a question and I lost my train of thought. But you said something and I was like, oh my God, that's a question, because I wanted to talk about that. And now I'm having a girl brain moment.
Yeah, it's going to come back to me.
It's going to come back to me. It's going to come back to me. But oh my gosh. I can't think of what my question was. It's a good question. Let me go back to my cheat notes because I did some screenshots of some stuff.
You'll think of it right when the stream ends.
Yeah, exactly.
I did.
Or we'll move on to another question
and
night. It's going to pop over in between.
I do have to mention something. Did you guys see this? I don't know who these people are, who the teachers are, but it says a teacher at an elementary school in South Carolina wanted to help little boys with no dads at home, so he started a gentleman's club where these little guys dress up and learn to shake hands, make eye contact, etc. He even has extra jackets and ties for the boys who can't afford them.
That's huge.
Have you guys seen that post going around?
No, I haven't seen it. That's cool though.
I think I shared it a couple of days ago. I'll reshare it again. But I mean, what if we started programs like this and have mentorship with men who are alphas who can help our young boys?
100%. I'll make a note on that. That's actually something I've had in the works, well, in my mind for the last year. Been meaning to start, like just even a YouTube channel where we could do all different things, have different guys come in all fronts, and even have it for younger kids, even if it's reading stories for kids that don't have a dad. You know, you can plug in with mom, have a more masculine voice that going into the characters and whatnot, then all fronts, changing a tire, tying a tie, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I one of those things I just haven't got on yet, but I'd love to connect with some individuals that want to do that. So anybody listening, if you see a place for that, definitely reach out to me.
That would be awesome. What about you, Phil? Because I know when I did the Blaze Kids, I have a nonprofit called Unity Fighters First Foundation that I started some time ago, and I incorporated Blaze Kids with it. And it was more of the children who were not able to afford sports. I would try to find gyms, MMA gyms that would donate a couple of months of training with these kids, things like that. What do you have a program or anything that you can incorporate with these boys?
We're starting to incorporate it. I'm actually finalizing my nonprofit this week, tomorrow actually. So it's the Warrior Shepherds Foundation, or charity organization, I should say. Got to get all the terms right, but basically it's the charity. We're trying to help the youth, but more so the disadvantaged youth, right? So the inner city kids. I'm working with a football team right now, Blanche Healy High School, very, very well-established high school, but really run down. It's in a bad part of the neighborhood, bad part of town, but these kids are super, super athletic, super, skillful, talented. They just don't have the right guidance. So we're doing that, and then also I'm gonna probably do that with several other schools in South Florida, spanning from Miami all the way up to West Palm Beach. So we're looking to do that. And then I'm also going to be doing stuff with my guy, Dustin Poirier. Obviously, I've been working with him for 5-6 years. So we're going to probably do some collaborations there too, as well, with his Good Fight Foundation.
That's excellent. What about you, LaRue? Do you do some personal training or training with some of the kids? I always talk to my athletes when I sponsor and promote them. I always ask them, can you give a little time to some of the kids?
Yeah, I train kids here and there. For the most part, what I do is I'll coach my sons in their football or team, and I try to. Like myself, my first sport is football, so I work a lot with the kids that during football. I try to teach them how to get better. Try to help them, because a lot of these kids, there's a lot of single moms that bring these dudes out here to play football. And these kids don't have nobody to show them how to run a route, how to catch a ball, or how to block, or how to do anything. So for me, I like to spend a lot of time showing kids how to do that.
Can you talk to him, Ken?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hi, Ken. I can hear you. Welcome to the Alpha Party.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. I'm ignorant when it comes to stuff.
Okay, so you guys are good?
Good.
Okay.
Thank you, babe.
That's awesome. I think Steve was saying he was talking you through how to get into the program here. Look, I'm not technical savvy myself either, so I think Shaun was asking me some questions before the show, and I'm like, let me find that answer for you, because I have Steve do it all. But Ken, welcome to the show. Can you tell everybody a little bit of background about yourself, Ken? I know all about you, but tell our audience who you are.
Yeah, I'm Ken Shamrock, and I fought in the UFC, and was in the WWF, fought over in Japan. So I've been fighting probably, 30 years or so, and in the pro wrestling circuit for about the same 30 years. So I've been around the athletic world and been a professional athlete all my life.
You also have a fight organization called Valor, correct? That's bare knuckle, right?
Yes, it is. We actually just opened that back up again after COVID. We shut down due to no fans in the audience, I didn't want to keep putting it on. I wanted to wait until we could get the fans back in the audience. And so now that we're at that point, we're relaunching Valor BK again September 18th at Four Bears Casino. We're locking all those little details down so we can actually start our advertisement here in 2 weeks or so.
That's awesome. Ken, please welcome LaRue Burley, if I say it correctly. Phil Daru.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
I hope you're familiarized with these guys. I'm sure you probably know who Phil Daru is, and if I'm not saying that right. And Shaun, oh my God, Shaun Zimmer, the Canadian Viking. Oh my gosh, the Canadian Viking. I'm sorry.
You're about to call him the Canadian Bacon. What was going on there?
Canadian Bacon. I am so sorry about that.
Got meat on the mind.
I'm just super excited that I can connect all of you. You guys are very strong alpha males, and we need you in this world. And that's why I wanted to have this Father's Day special. It was supposed to be last week. I was a little sick. I'm okay now. Now we're having it. So I'm super stoked about this because this is a hot topic for women. Women want to know where our alpha males are. Where are they? Why are they not taking a stand?
That's a good question because you're starting to see more and more. And I always believe that we have to learn from role models or from people that have done it before us. Like we always have this trail of things that happen. And unfortunately, the way things are going in our society now, the things that our kids have to learn from are literally the people that are running our country. And sometimes and I'm not talking about one side of the aisle or other, I'm just talking about the whole system. It seems like the only way that you can really be successful in that world and run the world is if you're able to step on people and bury people in the media and use media to hurt other people. And this is what everybody's learning as they grow up. And to me, it's really sad because I think it's time for everybody to just like, oh, hey, wait a minute, let's get back to what it's supposed to be. You know, man, woman, go out, have fun. You know, start standing up for what you believe in. Don't be afraid to open your mouth and say what you believe. If you're not hurting somebody just because you have an opinion, doesn't mean that you're wrong, doesn't mean that you're right, but you deserve that opinion. And that don't go hide under a rock because you're afraid you're going to lose friends or followers, or you might not be popular on social media, or some of your influencers might lose some fans because you don't want to take a stand against something. And to me, I think that's where we're at right now. Is I think people need to stop worrying about their followers and what they look like on social media and stand up for what you believe in.
I have to say this real quick, guys. Ken, well, actually, Mike found it and he brought it to my attention, and I have to address it because you are the baddest motherfucker in the. Okay, so I'm allowed to say that. I have a potty mouth every now and then. LeBron James, I saw your tweet where he's acting like a big crybaby pussy, okay? And you say, how about just do your job and let the coaches do their job and the management do their job? Stop being political, do your job.
Yeah,
what a stand.
You know, obviously when you text something, there's no personality or character behind it. It comes out flat. And what I was trying to do was just kind of give him an idea of what some people may be seeing from him, because I know that some of the things that he does sometimes he doesn't actually see what's happening to not just the people that agree with him, but then there's some people that don't, right? I mean, because when you take politics into the sports locker room, you're going to be divided. And I think that it's the wrong place for you to take that stand. I don't care what he does outside the locker room or outside basketball. I think you got to stand up for what you believe in and do all that you can. But when you start bringing that in on your teammates, you start bringing that in on the fan base, now you start causing a problem because not everybody believes the same thing that you believe in. And so therefore, I think it was the wrong place. LeBron James has never gone out in at least to my knowledge, has ever gone out in the first round of the playoffs. He's always been able to will his team to do great things, and he's a great basketball player. But this year, he didn't do so well. And I could see just the strain and the stress that was put on him, not just through COVID, but through a political stance that he took. And it split a lot of the basketball nation down the middle. because of a stance that he took on a basketball court, on a basketball interview. And it just literally, the fan base just kind of like, half of it agreed with him, the other half didn't. And it just felt like, man, that's just not the place for that. And a lot of people kept asking me, why would you say that? He has a right to say, yes, he does. But it's just like me standing up in the UFC or in the WWF, and I'm on their show, and all those fans came to see me perform, and I took that moment to have people try to understand my political side. It's the wrong place. It shouldn't be in sports. Sports is a place for people to go, to be able to go and relax, have fun, watch sports, and enjoy themselves, and go home and deal with life after that. But when you go to an event, a sporting event, you want to get away from all of that stuff.
Roger that.
What are your
That
thoughts
is,
on
yeah,
that?
and that's the big thing I think, Ken, too, is sports in general is supposed to be our athletes and our outlet for everything. Like just like when like music is for some people, like for most people who tend to follow, not just your big four, but like your combat sports in general. Like we go to this to get away from the daily grind of life and the daily grinds of having to be an adult and doing these things. And it's great that you have this. Do that on your platform. Don't try to shove it down our throats when we're trying to consume this larger product. That's what your platform is, right? Like you were talking about, people worry about their social media profiles, how many followers we're going to lose with this, etc. Isn't that typically why social media is built? So these athletes have these things to say these things how they want it, where they want it, etc. I listen, I'm not going to take the microphone out of any man's hand, but at the end of the day, like when we're all going through COVID and everything like this, and you're adding more pressures onto you, as you were saying, he's broken down in many ways. He was the one volleying for the whole buy into the playoffs things, and when he became a part of it, he's like, "Oh, this is stupid. Whoever created this should have been fired." You just contradicted what you said 3 months ago.
Right?
It's breaking them down. It's breaking them down.
What do you guys think? What do you think, Phil? I know you're taking a sip over there.
Yeah, obviously, Ken's right with when it comes down to being a professional and doing your job when it comes to a professional sport like the NBA, where you're making millions of dollars. There is a time and place. For him, he's looked at as a figure of, with a lot of young men around. People are looking up to him. So what he says is going to hold a lot of water in a lot of fans' eyes. And so if you're going to be negative or you're going to have any negative connotation of anything of that nature, you have to be able to or willing to take the consequences. And I guess, at this point he is. But yeah, I think that for any man that has the ability to speak, they need to understand where they need to speak and make sure that they have the proper means to do it from a professional standpoint, right? If you are a professional, carry yourself like a professional.
I completely agree with that. It's one of the things I think like some people kind of lose in it. Like yes, we have this great platform, this great voice, but sometimes we just because we have it, we think we could say whatever we want, however we want, and not think of the other side of it on the to the other end. Like, all right, what we've seen over the past few years, it's just people use social media more as a weapon, as Ken talking about the media used more as a weapon against people instead of being the voice to let people be out, right? We're seeing social media platforms kind of being constricted down. People losing profiles. Racheal lost her account over simple things. It wasn't even anything like she particularly said in general. It was sharing of other content.
Yeah,
lost account that had a couple tens of thousands followers.
No, yeah, I had a lot of followers, and let me tell you, that took me. I got depressed after that happened. I don't regret taking a stand. But I got depressed because that was my business page. That was my page. I had all the connections I had for MMA, all the combat sports, friends I had over the years that I was in combat sports. And now I don't know. I mean, I try to find everybody, but I don't remember 10,000 plus people. And so it kind of pissed me off that I lost that. But at the same token, I'm never going to compromise on what I believe in and what I stand for. So, and in the end, it was worth it, but it kind of hurt me. So I'm at 434 followers, and I'm okay with that. But it'll grow. It'll grow. I've never been the one to go on and I'm not like Shaun Zimmer. I mean, I commend you. I'm like, I want to get on there. Like I sent you a message and I'm like, I want to get on there and I want to do a live and I want to talk about stuff because I have a lot to say too. I'm a female and I think we should say something. And so I haven't gotten the courage to do it yet. And I'm working on that.
Yeah, I'll be losing my account soon, I'm pretty sure.
Now, I wanted to get everyone's thoughts. Like, all right, you guys were talking about LeBron. Who are some like 3 athletes you think could use a dose of testosterone, a dose of masculinity? Who's some athletes in general?
Yeah, well, read again. You won't.
We got it. Take LeBron out of it. Take LeBron out of it, though.
No, see, this is what I won't do. I won't talk about anybody else.
I like it.
Yeah, Ken's like, I already stuck my foot in my mouth once this month. I'm gonna bow out of this one.
Yeah.
Look, it's dead silence.
They're like, yep, we don't want none of this. We don't want none of this.
Nobody wants to make.
Hey, is it fair enough to say that I don't care enough to worry about other people to actually give you that answer?
That's a good one, Phil.
The problem.
I mean, I enjoy watching other individuals do great things. Don't get me wrong. It's their own power. Their self-power personified. At that point, I'm still like, I got my own things I got to worry about, right? In my own circle that I have to worry about. So if you are somebody that I know that works with me, that I care about, I'll check you. But if not, I really don't care,
Now, can I ask this question? I have to ask, and look, I'm all about people's individual choices, and I mean, I have a problem when you're mixing. Oh God, am I going to open up a bag of worms here? Screw it, I'm just going to say
probably.
It. Okay, men who cross over and want to be in female sports.
Oh man, didn't we just get this week? Didn't we just get this week?
Like the Olympics. I'm like,
oh man, yeah. I'm not happy about that at all. I'm not. I'm really not. Just listen, listen. I'm not against anyone's choices or anything like that. But listen, when we're talking about we're taking an Olympic spot away from a female just because a guy is decided to he now identifies as X, Y, and Z. That's fine. But when you cross into athletics is where I'll always have the issue. I had the issue when Fallon Fox was trying to do it in MMA, 5-10 years ago, whatever that was. I had an issue back then. I'll have an issue with this person taking an Olympic spot. I believe it was from someone from Tokyo, Japan, from that region. So you took an Olympic spot from that person just because we live in this politically correct world. I'm sorry. You might be a great person outside of it, but I still think in the generality of the Olympic, what we should clarify as should be male and female, point blank and period.
Well, let's balance this out for a minute. Let's just get to black and white, right?
Yes, sir.
We understand black and white. I mean, there's black and there's white. People see that color. It's pretty clear, right? So when you look at this, and you take a man who is in the Olympics and he's 125th ranked in the world, right? So this same person goes and gets a sex change and then identifies as the other and then becomes the #1 rank in that division.
I have an
issue. Is there a problem?
Yes,
that's
a big one.
Pretty big jump from somebody who was just not even average in a men's division in the Olympics, and then he gets the change, and now all of a sudden he's the #1 in the world. Okay, I'm just saying.
He's just going like.
What do you think, Shaun? I know you got something to say. I see it.
I just, like I said, I don't want that in my sports. Whatever you do in your personal life is one thing. I just don't want it. I don't want you taking something from another high level female athlete. I have an issue with that. That's all.
Yes,
that makes sense.
My problem is
I think it's pretty clear, man. I really do. I think when you look at the genetics and you look at it in a physical way, it's pretty clear. I mean, women just don't have the abilities that men do. I mean, let's just say, in the world of MMA, if you were to switch those classes and you combined it all, how many of those women would actually be in the top 10 in the UFC if you just combined them?
Maybe one.
I got
Amanda Nunes is a tough woman, man. Amanda Nunes is a tough woman. There's one.
Ken, I'll say this. I'll say
There will
this.
be no women in the top 10. Those men are just absolutely insanely tough. And the women are the same in their division. But if you combine that, no comparison.
Yeah, there's very few that I would say. Amanda Nunes because I've known her for so long. She punches like a man at 135 pounds, 100%.
But I'm talking top 10.
Yeah. No,
top 10 men's division, whatever weight that is. Those top 10 men.
No,
it's not even close.
No, not at all. But to say like the Fallon Fox, that's her name. I don't know her name.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fallon Fox.
Like I will guarantee, I'll put money on it. If Amanda Nunes fought that individual, then Amanda's going to win that fight. I'm just going to say that. And that's just from personal experience, just seeing her.
I would agree with that. I would agree with you on that. But like to Ken's point, men are just more athletic, dominant.
Yeah,
like if you compare basketball, you got a handful, maybe 2-3 women in WNBA that can dunk, but you got fucking 100 men that can damn near jump from the free throw line.
Yeah,
right.
It's just genetically we're more dominant. So when you cross over like black and white and you become gray, well, your ass don't fit in with the white or the black. So figure it out.
Yeah,
that's right. You got to be. You're one or the other, man.
Hey, I'm all for equal. You want to do that? Whatever floats your boat. But in that aspect, I think you forfeit the right to compete.
100%.
I agree too.
Just because of you're dominant. Because if a woman, put it this way, if a woman turned into a man, it wouldn't. As a man, it's not even a threat.
Is that possible? We're getting donations over here. Yeah, Jenna donations.
Yeah.
I think we just reach alternate world questions here. Like maybe this could happen in another dimension.
Right. I mean, like, well, my thing is if you want that, then why not create their own division, their own where they can compete.
Because there's not enough of them to do that either way, and that's
what I'm saying.
But they're all, but if you also think about it, is they're just taking advantage of way things are kind of going right now, and just saying like, hey, I can get away with this, yeah, I may be ridiculous or whatever, but I'll be an Olympian, I'll be a world champion, etc. And I just it's one of the things that hopefully, us as a society wakes up and just say, hey, like we have to either classify this or get them out of one or the other. That's all.
How would you like, and I mean, I'm putting this on everybody out there that's listening, and then literally, if you wanted to just make it be personal. What if your daughter was 18 years old and had to compete against another 18-year-old that was transgender? And she had to compete against her in order to be able to qualify for the Olympics. And she got aced out because even though she was still number one, but when the transgender came over, aced her out of the chance of going to the Olympics.
Yeah, of course.
Because that person changed over, because there was nobody else that could beat her except for that one that changed over. And that's happened, I know right now, at least 2 times in what I've seen in the news, that has happened where somebody has transferred over and literally disqualified an opportunity for a young lady to go to the Olympics.
Exactly. Yeah. If it was my daughter, I'd probably slip something in that drink of that individual.
I mean, I don't know if I go that far, but I'd be screaming for some mountaintops. I'd be pretty upset, watching my kid lose out on an opportunity just because you feel like you identify as something else anymore. It's rough, man. We're living in a rough world, man.
It's definitely, I've never thought I would ever see this happen. I'm shocked. I feel like I'm in a nightmare right now. All I can do is keep buying my pistols and my guns and stuff and be prepared. I mean, it's gotten crazy.
The issue,
well, in women's basketball, they literally have to find other transgenders to be able to compete with some of these teams because they're getting these 7 foot or 6'7" transgenders coming into their basketball. And now all these women's basketball teams now are trying to go out there to try to find people who will be able to compete against these type of big individuals, because if you watch when they compete, they're just bouncing off these transgenders that are literally in the center getting the ball and dunking it. And these women, they have no ability to stop them.
Yeah.
No.
Makes sense.
Mike, you were going to say something?
The issue I see with all of this is that and the reason I don't think that transgender people want their own division is because then they can't force people to go along with what they believe and what they want. The whole goal, I think, is to
get attention,
force people to go along.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's interesting. So much transition is going on now. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there are rappers in dresses as of late, and there are lots of celebrities coming out in dresses these days. And is that the toxic masculinity? I'm so confused by that. What?
Can we go back to the 30s with cigars, hats, and suits?
Right. All gangsters.
You can't say of her or him or these different things that we're used to saying now. They're really changing the English language in order to be able to fit some of these things that are happening. And these young kids in school that are being taught when they don't even understand themselves yet. Like they're going through puberty. And they're so confused already with the normal way that life goes. Now all of a sudden they're being taught something else that they can't, and their minds can't wrap around this thing. I'll tell you a story. My granddaughter, who is 11 years old, and this is honest to God truth, and I literally just did almost tore the school apart. She came home crying because this young lady came up to her, was her age, was in her class, and she tried to kiss her. And of course, my granddaughter, pushed her away and said no. And she told her, she said, if you don't do that, then you won't be popular anymore and nobody will like you. When she went to go report that, they literally ignored her and said to her, you're going to have to accept some of these things and these changes that are happening with some of these kids. I literally I lost it, because they're forcing these kids to have to understand something that they don't understand, because they can't even understand who they are yet. They're still growing into themselves, trying to figure out where they fit in. And now they're confusing them with teaching these kids about this transgender and about being able to make a decision on whether you want to have a change or not a change. And you're talking about 4th, 5th, and 6th graders that they're telling them that they have a choice to be whatever they want to be.
So that's way too early. That's way too early.
I don't think I think yeah, and have you seen some of the books now that this?
Well, I mean, not just like now, just in general. Like I talked to my 13-year-old about some things, and just like some of the things that she's already like up to date on. I'm just like, what?
Like, wait a minute, how do you know about this?
Exactly. So it's like I'm feeling like I'm behind on it, and it's like, all right, so I have to kind of update the dad talks that I have to have. It's rough, man. Like we feel that we say that we're not equipped for some things, but sometimes like you're cutting us off because you're trying to push things on them that they don't need to even need to have to comprehend for another 5 years.
To make a decision,
that's another issue. The
you're taking it away from us.
Yeah, Mike was saying the hypersexualization.
Yeah, the kids are getting exposed to sexuality at way too young of an age now.
I agree. I can't believe some of the stuff that they're teaching them.
Yeah, and now, do you guys think that getting back to the focus of today's stream could be affecting masculinity and the proper development of young men?
I think 10, 15 years down the road, we're going to see a huge transition in what we will not be able to even understand what it looks like, because it's going to be so different because of what they're teaching now at such a young age, and what we're seeing with these kids all being able to say that they can make a decision at 6 and 7 and 8 years old on whether they want to be a male or a female, even though they were born a certain way. and they're literally asking these or teaching these kids that they have a choice to be whatever they want to be. And I think as you start to see in the next 10, 20 years, you're going to see a lot of confused individuals when they turn 20, 22. They're going to be confused because just look how hard it is as we were growing up to find our sexual identity. I mean, and we knew what we wanted to be, but there's just so many things that happen to you as you grow up and as you start to mature that it's already confusing. And to be able to throw this into the mix, I feel bad for our kids that are going to grow up because I just don't know how they're going to wrap all this stuff around their brain.
I agree. My daughter just graduated high school. Thank God. I actually learned how to do the religious exemption against the shots, the vaccines. And I wish I had known that a long time ago because I would have never gotten her vaccinated at all. She is not going to go to college, and I don't blame her. I understand her position in not going to college with what's going on right now. And that's really sad because our young adults should be looking forward to going to college, earning a degree, and being proud of that success. And now they're being swayed away from college. They're scared to go to college now.
Hey guys, I just want to make note. I gotta jump out.
Yes, I was gonna say that. I'm so sorry, Shaun. I was trying to find a moment to say if anybody has to go, I totally understand. But we want to give you the quick spotlight so people know where to find you. Go ahead, tell everybody how they can find you.
TheVikingOnDemand.com. You can get access to me there. All my social media contacts and everything at that point. So The Viking on Demand, pretty easy to remember.
Cool. And you can find him on Instagram too. All your social media sites.
Yeah, for now. For now.
For now. I really appreciate you coming on, Shaun. Thank you so much. And you guys, please connect with each other, follow each other. We need you guys, okay? The stronger the alpha male community is, the better we are.
Yeah, I'll connect with all y'all on that little post you had there. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I gotta go too, guys.
Okay, good, Phil. We're gonna put the spotlight on you now.
It's cool. So Instagram at Daru Strong, Twitter is at Daru Strong, DaruStrong.com. Very easy. One thing I do want to say is Daru, man, good luck on your fight, man. Like I said. Also, Ken, you're a legend, bro, and thank you for everything you've done for the sport and the industry, bro. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Phil, for coming on. I really appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.
All right, so we just have LaRue and we have Ken. Pat was supposed to join us. Pat Miletich, he is out to dinner with his daughter for her birthday. He said he's going to try to come in the last 30 minutes. So we'll see. Steve, look out for Pat if he comes in, okay?
I'll keep an eye out for him. I guess since we didn't want to go the one way with it, so who are your top 3 alpha males that you think are in just point blank period, not in sports, just in life right now?
Well, the Rock. The Rock's number one.
No.
Rock's number one.
I have my differences about The Rock. Sorry. Ken is my number 1. Pat is my second. Do I need to go any further?
Kevin Hart.
Stop that, Kevin Hart. I'm from Philly. I'm not even going to put Kevin Hart on that. Stop.
He's having a hard time trying to be a dad. Watch his movie.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Oh my gosh. Did you had questions for Ken, did you not?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because he's now on. You can ask him your question.
Ask him.
This is Mike. Mike is a really good friend of mine. He is a Army veteran, so he has a lot to say. He asked to be on, and I said, come on over. You can come over and be on. I don't care. More the merrier.
Yeah, we appreciate everything you've done, man. Thank you.
Oh, it's no big deal.
Thank you very much. It is a big deal, though. But it is a big deal. But it is a big deal.
Us getting into a ring and fighting is very, very exciting and is a big deal to us. And what you do, please, come on now.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was wondering, what do you think young fathers might do to make sure that their kids grow up, and specifically boys grow up to be properly measured masculine men?
Well, first of all, I think it has to start with you. I mean, it has to start with the father, making sure that whatever he's doing, the kids are looking and seeing at a role model. So as they grow up, monkey see, monkey do. And I think a lot of kids, and I'm not saying everybody, but they have people over, maybe they're drinking beer, they start cussing, they start, horsing around, or they watch TV or sports or this, and they hear them cuss at something. And so young kids they learn everything at a very young age. And they're sponges. So they're seeing everything and learning everything, and it's visual. So just because I go on and tell my son, hey, don't do this, don't do that, and then I turn around and do the same thing, and then you say, yeah, but I'm an adult, or don't do as I say, do as I say, don't do as I do. So I think a lot of that, in my opinion, is because we don't live the way that we want our kids to grow up. And so for me, I think that's first and foremost, is to be a role model. Second is, as they're infants, as they start crawling and they just start to walk, you discipline. And I think people look at it and go, you discipline a baby? And I try to get people to understand that it doesn't have anything to do with the spanking, right? Like when you walk over and you pat a baby on the butt, or a toddler on the butt because they touched something and you told them don't to touch, so you walk over and you pat them on the butt, right? It's not hard. It's not anything that's going to hurt them. It's more if you hurt their feelings because they've let you down, because you told them something and they didn't listen. They understand the emotions, right? The different ups and the downs. So by the time these kids are literally walking and they're older, you never have to touch them again, ever. And the only time you ever do is when they got a diaper on and you walk over and say, hey, I told you no, and you pat them on the back and you hurt their feelings. Mm-hmm. You do that enough times and they know what no means. They literally know what no means. And so then as they get older, you never have to touch them. You always can talk to them and explain to them why they're right and they're wrong. Now it's almost like so many people are so afraid of discipline. I'm not disciplining my kids. And then pretty soon the kids are looking at them, screaming at them and saying, no! Like, tell them, don't do that. No! No! And you let your kid talk to you that way? And it's like, but you can't, at that age, now you have to do a little bit more in order for them to listen to you, which then becomes a problem because other people are going to watch, they're going to see, and they're going to, oh, wow, why do you hit him that hard? Why are you spanking him that hard? Mm-hmm. So I think if you do it at an early age where it's not physical, it's more of a feeling thing. As they get older, then when you tell them no, they know you mean no, and you don't have to go that extra distance to do anything.
Yeah, I had a grandfather. You could just get that look. He would give me that look like, okay. And he had a paddle. I got to tell you the story. It's so funny. I've never had the paddle, okay? I was the lucky one. But there was a paddle with holes in it, like the sorority type of paddle. And he had those on the wall. And he's like, he'd give me the look, and he'd look at the paddle, and he'd look at me again. And he's like, okay. And I never tried it. Never tried anything with my grandfather.
I never had to discipline my kids when they were 8, 9 years old, and I had 3 boys and 4 girls. I've never had to ever physically do anything with them. When they were little, I spanked them on the butt, with the diapers on, I spanked them on the butt. They would cry. I had this incident with my oldest boy, and he was probably, 4 or 5 years old, and we had a bowl of M&Ms on the table, and we always kept them out, right? Because when they would come around, they would say, hey, can we have it? No, you can't have it, not till after dinner. Well, they got that moment where the kid is going to test the no. And so I was sitting on the couch with a coffee table there. The M&Ms were sitting out on the table, and he goes, hey, can I have an M&M? And I said, no, we haven't eaten dinner yet. And so he looked right at me. And I knew when he looked at me, like, okay, here it is. He reached over there, right? And as he reached over there, he didn't touch the M&M. He got close enough to it where he was basically saying that he was going to get one anyways. Well, just as he started to reach over, he never really touched it. He just put his finger there, and then he looked at me. And I walked over there and I smacked his hand. And he looked at me again. And he put his hand back over again. So I walked over there, I smacked it a little bit harder. And I could see him start to his lips start to tingle a little bit. He looked right at me again, and he put his finger back over again. I smacked him a little bit harder. Went to go put his hand over there. I put my finger up, and I said, I'm gonna smack your hand again. And he looked at me, and he just started bawling.
Oh.
From that point on, I have never had to discipline him again. Because it was like he was pushing the line, even though he didn't touch it. But he was still basically defiant. He was still trying to go, okay, I'm going to see how far I can go. No, we're not playing that game. You're not going to push anything. I said, no. Like, there's no reason for you to put your hand over there. I said, no. And so from that point on, I never had to discipline him. He always knew when I said no, or even as he got older, he would say, well, why not? And I explained to him why not. And then he would ask me or say something to me. And if he made sense to why, when I said no, that it shouldn't be no, then I would say, okay, I get it, go ahead. But it had to make sense if he was going to explain to me what he didn't want, why he wanted to do this. And I said no, but why he should do it. So I think as parents, we need to teach our kids that having conversations, that just because you say no doesn't mean that you can't try to say, hey, listen, this is why I want to go, or this is why I need to go, or whatever it is that they're going to do. And you could say, okay, you can go this time. But I think that we're so far one way of saying no, and I don't want to hear it anymore because I'm the father and I said no, as opposed to no and them saying, well, why can't I? I want to do this. I've made the plans. I did. So, okay, you can go this time. So I think it's being able to open up that dialogue that, yes, it is no, but you can also talk about it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Communication is key in all things. I agree with that statement. What about you, LaRue? How do you discipline? Like, how do you work with your own children?
Younger. So now I give them that look. They know. Sit down, or you'll get in trouble. Like, I really don't. Like, I don't know when the last time I had discipline them, really. But
see, I'm more like the one, like, I'll give you the look, and then we'll have a conversation. And then if you continue along, like, I don't raise my voice until you continually have me repeating myself multiple times. So, you know, I don't even think like over the past few years, I don't even think I've put a hand on my kid more than once or twice. Just more along the lines like, you didn't listen to me, you're about to hurt yourself. Like, what are you doing? Hello.
Well, just like LaRue was saying,
McFly.
Like LaRue was saying, it's like when he looks at his kid, there are times where your son literally, you guys have a connection, right? I mean, like, and so when you look at him, you don't even have to say anything, right? You just literally look at him because they know that they're doing something wrong. So all you do is look at them and they know to stop. So that's a great connection. That means like there's definitely a relationship there. There's a connection there, and they know right and wrong.
Now let me ask you guys this: is there a lack of I just lost the word of it. Like when you take your boys fishing and you take them camping, you teach them life skills, something the schools never do. They never teach them how to survive outside of school. Like, when they're grown, how do you survive? I've learned that. My daughter has expressed that when she was in high school and graduated. She's like, they didn't teach me that. What do you mean they didn't teach you that? So, like, how do we teach our kids? We have to teach them outside of school, right? How do we survive? How do the kids survive? They have to learn how to survive.
Shit, I don't know how to fish, so I couldn't answer that question.
Me neither.
I got a funny story about that one.
It's about taking the time to do it. You gotta be willing to take the time to do it.
Fathers need to take the time to do it. I've noticed, and we've talked about laziness. A lot of males are lazy.
I just think as they commercialize Father's Day to the point where you got guys don't really get to be able to kind of like go and do like those things with their kids. They got to kind of go on like the nature trips and go out and teach them how to fish, go out and do things. And also is also because you look at the generations, it's kind of broken it down that way. So it's supposed to be almost that way where it's taking that away from us. That's the way society has been kind of working its way towards that. the past 20 years or so. Just taking that away from the male figure in general.
Well, I also think too that some kids that are grown up in the upper class or middle class, I think it's important that they learn at an early age that they have to work and that they have to go out and get a job. If they want the extra money or they want to go and do something, they have to earn that money.
Yes.
I think too much in the world now is that it's almost like in this generation, it's almost like everybody thinks that they're owed something and that they need to be given something. And to me, I just think that, everything that you are ever going to want in this world, you got to want to earn it, because it's the only thing worth having. It's something that you're going to work hard for and that you're going to earn to get. And like I said, because of the profession I was in, I took my kids to gym. I took my kids at 5 years old were doing gymnastics. And then I took them into the gym with me, and they would take the kids classes, and then I'd be in there training. They'd be training over somewhere else with some instructor. And so, because I was in this industry, I wanted them to learn what it was like to go out and try to earn something in my world, and that was getting in there and putting in the work. And so, my kids, I got 7 of them, and they're all doing really well. I got 16 grandbabies, and
he's not just Papa, he's Grandpapa. I forgot to tell you that.
Right.
That one.
Yes.
You got 16
grandbabies. And, well, I can tell you what, I can't wait for them to get older, because I'm going to be that coach.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it.
Any possible wrestlers or fighters in the mix?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So maybe the Shamrock name gets continued on, huh?
I got three of my grandchildren, not including there's 2 of my granddaughters that are also just tough, and they're not bullies. They literally, most of them try to explain themselves, but even at this young age, from 5 to 8 years old, and I don't promote this at all, but they have literally already stepped in and had a couple things happen, because how kids are, where they're taking toys or they're doing this. And I had a couple calls already where 3 of my different grandkids had actually gotten into something to push some kid down, because they were basically picking on somebody and were taking their toys. So they stepped in and handled it. And I was like, okay, that's okay. I said, but maybe we should talk first. Don't use the physical stuff, because they see me wrestling, they see me fighting, and so it's
they think that's the conflict resolution answer.
Because that's the first thing that they want to do when there's a confrontation, is they think it's okay, grab them, push them, take them down, and I got to constantly keep telling them, no, you don't do that. The only way you do that is you do that in the ring in a controlled environment. So it's, especially being, as long as I've been doing it, and I even do it today with wrestling, and so they're always constantly watching these videos and seeing me do these things, and they just think that's normal. So there's definitely a learning curve there that I have to teach them. But at the same time, in the sense that they're doing it, it's not like they're not wrong for standing up for somebody, but it's just not in that way. They need to use their words.
Yeah, it was one of the things I dealt with like my my son's mother's her first daughter. Like, she had some things that was going on outside of the fact. I'm like, listen, if they come at you first, I'll back you up 1,000%. I was like, but if I find out that you're the one going to seek it out, then me and you are going to have a problem. Never had the problem, but it's one of the things that I just know, like, I know that she's good with that, and that's one of the main reasons I got my kids into it. Is just so, like, we know how the world is. You just got to make sure that they're able to kind of defend themselves and control the situation as much as possible.
Yeah, and especially in the world that we're living in today. I mean, it's just crazy, and that turn the other cheek thing.
That only works so often. It only works so often.
You might not be able to turn the other cheek if you let them get away with the first one. You might not be awake to let them hit the other one. So
I never my kids that. I never was taught that. If I was ever picked on or something, if someone might start a fight with me, my brothers are always told me, finish it. Don't start it, but finish it.
Right.
I teach my kids the same way. Right? Don't turn the other cheek. They smack you, smack them back. Because if you let them pick on you, they'll always pick.
I've been saying that to my son recently. I've been saying that to my son recently because he just started his training recently, and like I seen him, this kid was kind of like he's a little bit bigger, a little bit older, was trying to control the situation. He came up to him afterwards like, "Don't ever turn your back on him." I was like, you both in a controlled environment, no matter what. Don't turn your back on these people, boy. Don't ever turn your back on them. So you don't ever give them the other cheek either.
Call me and be like, "Oh well, Kendall punched him back. Okay, what's the problem?" Well, he should go tell the teacher. No, he shouldn't. Hit him dead in his mouth. I bet you he'll leave you alone. He won't punch you no more.
Yes. Yeah.
If you let somebody do, that's how you get bullied. That's how you get picked on. Then you got people around here bringing guns to school and shooting up the school because they've been picked on so long.
Right. That's right.
I want to change gears the last 15 minutes here. I want to talk some
gears, Steve.
I want to talk some sports for a few minutes, at least a few minutes. I want to get Ken's thoughts on a few things and get LaRue's thoughts on a few things.
Steve.
Oh no, we're gonna have some fun. I mean, well, actually, the funny thing is, I've booked Ken for interviews on 3 different platforms. This is the first time I actually talked to him.
Whatever. Yes, yes.
But Ken, obviously, you've been around the world and back again. Obviously, combat sports is no stranger to you. Wrestling's no stranger to you. What are your thoughts on what's going on in the wrestling world nowadays? Like, we kind of feel like the WWE's kind of losing its touch on thing, and the rest of the Western world's starting to catch up, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's the way of the world, right? I mean, you can't be on top forever. And I thought Vince McMahon is a genius when it comes to what he's done and up to this point, right? But I think that he's at his time now where he's definitely older, and I think that he's turned the reins over. It's not the same because Vince was a unique individual. He was able to be very creative and was a genius in a lot of storylines. And so when he's kind of stepping back a little bit, I just don't think WWE is ever going to be where it's at because it doesn't have its leader. Vince was an amazing individual. And I just don't think that the other people that are stepping in are going to be, not to say they won't be successful. I just don't think they're going to be where they're at when Vince was in control. And I don't think wrestling's dead. I think wrestling's just going through a little downfall right now. But I think it's going to come back and it'll be fine. But I just don't think we'll ever get to what we were before with the Attitude Era and those great times that we had. I just don't think we'll ever get there again.
I agree. I think it was almost, it's like we've hit the peak with that, and then like I don't know if it's the storylines, if it's like you said, like Vince phasing out and these new guys trying to find a handle on these new reigns before or is it just like the wrestling superstar hasn't been what it has been over the past 10 years compared to what it's been over the big boom over the last 30 or so.
Well, and I also think this too is if you look at the MMA world,
we're stealing some of it. We're stealing some of it there.
Wrestling is getting to a point where people still love it and they watching it, but because of MMA is moving and being so strong, I think that the reality is really starting to set in on like what these MMA guys are really doing. Like how tough it is and how athletic, incredible you have to be in shape and technically sound and to get into that ring. And then you look at wrestling where you got these guys trying to be tough, right? Or acting like, and not to say it's great storylines, it's entertaining, but I'm just saying MMA is just making such a move and it's taken over the sports world that I just think people are starting to really look and see, and it's just not the same as it was back in the day when you had guys like Brock Lesnar and myself, Ronda Rousey, different people that were mixed in with it that could give it some legitimacy. I just think that now that people are just getting tired of the same old stuff, they want to see more aggressiveness. They want to make sure that things at least look real to them if they're going to watch a movie. They don't want the movie to suck. And so that's kind of what it is with wrestling. They're watching a movie. They don't want it to suck. They want all the moves to look good and be real, or at least look real. So that's kind of what I think it is. I think it's because of the landscapes of what MMA is doing that there's so much visibility and understanding of what's real and what's not real anymore.
Yeah, I also think the other side of it is because when you look at combat sports as a whole, it's kind of adopted the whole sports entertainment vibe. So what you used to get from wrestling, you're getting in combat sports in general, except you're getting the real fight at the end of the day with the athlete.
Right, and the fights are exciting. You're starting to see a lot more talented individuals. They're more well-rounded. So you get to see a lot of exciting fights and a lot of fights that are very competitive. So, like I said, I think the landscape has changed. I think that the MMA is very, very exciting. And you're looking at bare knuckle. I mean, you're seeing
And that's
that
the other
start
side
to
of it. Yep.
emerge.
And that's
It's
the
gonna
other
be-
side of it. Yep.
That right there is going to start being very exciting. I know a lot of people are looking at it going, I don't think that's, but it's the same thing to what MMA was back when I did it. It was no holds barred. It was rough. We had a cult following, but as soon as someone came in and said, okay, let's clean it up and let's get it out there mainstream. So as soon as somebody does that, Ballard Bare Knuckle, as soon as somebody does that, cleans it up, makes it professional, gets it out there in mainstream, then you're going to start seeing this actually take off because one, it's so fast. I mean, we don't have any cages. We don't have any ropes. You can't clinch. You can't grab. If you do, you get penalized. So you got to fight out of the clinch. There's no grabbing. So that's fast. So you got 3 rounds, 3 minutes. It's bare knuckle, no tape on the hand whatsoever. So if you jab, you knock somebody down. So it's going to be fast and it's going to be exciting. So I really look for this probably the next 5 to 10 years. You're going to start seeing the bare knuckle thing, and you're going to start seeing MMA start taking over the sports industry. And you'll start seeing it rise to the top. The NFL is there right now. Obviously, they're huge. But we're at a different spectrum, and I truly believe that you'll start seeing that wrestling, and I'm a huge fan of wrestling, don't get me wrong. But unless they start changing their format and start, making it more aggressive, they don't have to knock people out. I did pro wrestling over in Japan, and it was the UWF, and it was literally looked like we were fighting each other. And I think that's what wrestling is going to have to do in order to compete in that world, right? To stay relevant, they're going to have to start being more aggressive and start doing things that look more real in order to keep up where the industry is going.
Yeah, and the industry is definitely going in different directions when we're talking about professional wrestling and combat sports. They're going in different directions. You just can't deny it. And like you said, bare knuckle boxing is just another one of these things where we have what you have doing with Valor, with what Feldman's doing over here on the East Coast with BKFC. We've already had the guy overseas in Poland doing Ragnarok bare knuckle boxing. So we're already getting promotions of doing it here in the United States. We're getting some that are going internationally. Hopefully we can get something where we can get it all kind of combined in, and obviously the original days of tournaments could be fun with that, right?
Well, and listen, when I was fighting in the early days, back when the dinosaurs were still on Earth, it was exciting because with the bare knuckle and being able to fight during those times, it was something that you never saw before, right? And you're talking about guys getting kicked and elbowed and punched and headbutted, and it was just so raw, and it was an exciting one. But then when you cleaned it up and started making it more professional, then you were able to get it mainstream, and it was exciting. I still believe, and I've always said this, and I believe it because I fought with. I was a kid Muay Thai fighter. I had a professional fight over in Japan and Muay Thai. So I trained in Muay Thai. I also fought, mixed martial arts or no holds barred with no gloves on. I fought with 4-ounce gloves on. I fought with tape, no tape. And it's amazing to me when people start talking about, well, what do you mean not to be taped? That's dangerous. And I laugh at it because I said, let me explain this to you. Do you know why they put 4-ounce gloves on MMA fighters? And they look at me and go, ooh, they just want to make it safer. And I said, yeah, they want to make it safer for the guys doing the punching. Because back when we were doing tournament days, people were breaking their hands. And they couldn't get into the finals without having damaged hands. So they came up with this creative idea to put 4-ounce gloves on guys so that they protect the guys that were winning, not the guys that were getting knocked out. They didn't care about them. They want to protect the winners, so they put gloves on them. So when they start talking about safety and how they're trying to protect the fight, no, They're protecting the commodity, the guys that are winning, and it's not because it's safer.
And speaking of that, and speaking of safety and stuff like that, what are your thoughts on some of the stuff going on with the potential fighter pensions coming out?
Yeah, I stay out of that. I got my own issues. I mean, back in the day,
I know we got our own issues, but like moving forward, like regardless of what's happened in the past, Ken, like moving forward, wouldn't you like to see combat sport athletes have some type of pension moving forward?
let me tell you this. MMA, when you talk about the breakdown in pay, is the absolute worst in the friggin' world. How much these guys are getting paid as opposed to what the organization is making. And I made this beef back when I first came back to fight in the UFC with Dana White after I had already gone over to Japan and fought over in Japan. I came back because they wanted me to fight Tito when I was way out of my prime, but I came back to try to help build up the organization. And so when I came back, I really came back, and I was the one that brought the numbers in where I got paid off the pay-per-view. I paid myself. And so I brought those numbers in. And then, of course, everybody else started getting them, and then they took them away again. But because when I did that, I started to understand how much they were making.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I tried to tell them, what you guys are doing is a crime. You guys should not be taking this much money in on each event and the fighters not making what they made. And I even spoke out in the media, and I got ramrodded for it. People told me to shut up. Even the fighters told me to shut up. Mind my business, because I wasn't there anymore after I had walked away from it. But I had a lawsuit because
and at the last hour, he's here.
Yes, Pat. That's Pat. Pat, can you hear us? Pat?
I can hear him.
Yeah.
He's in the car and he's stationary, but that's good. I was like, please do not be driving, guys. That's what I told everybody tonight.
Yeah,
Like,
well, I guess you didn't get the memo.
Hi, Pat. Can you hear us?
All right, I don't know why I can't hear you very well. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay. Now.
Can you hear Ken?
Maybe I can hear you better.
Can you hear me now? Did you turn your hearing aids on?
I've got great signal. I've got great signal, but I can't hear you guys very well, so I apologize.
That's a shame. That's a real shame, brother.
Pat, he just asked you if you had your hearing aids in.
It works even better because he can't hear us. It works even better because he can't hear us.
That is funny. Ken, can you hear? Pat, can you hear us? You're frozen.
Yeah. That's what he gets for driving around.
Yeah.
And then Ken drops the joke of all jokes at the end of the show.
Pat also, he's actually working on the Valor BK. He's one of our announcers.
There you go. I'm glad he's back.
So
Thank you for getting him back in it, Ken. Thank you.
Yay.
That's what I want to hear.
He's a good guy. Yeah. He's a good guy. And Ken, I didn't know that you were so outspoken, like, well, me and Pat and, LaRue, and I didn't know that about you. So I'm super excited about this. I'm like, yes, Ken.
Oh man, Ken, that's why I love Ken. He, not only is an alpha male, he's an American, and he's a true person of life. Regardless of the combat sports and everything else, he's just a man of life, and that is one of the reasons why I love talking to Ken. Is why one of the reasons I have the utmost respect for him on each level.
There's platforms, I think, that we're able to kind of talk and have our opinions, and that's what these are for. And when we were talking about LeBron earlier, that comment wasn't made for me to go after LeBron. That comment was me basically just say, hey, brother, slow down. Like, just worry about your job. The coaches will take care of you. The managers will take care of you. Just do your job, and don't worry about all this other crap that's going on. The way it was said, I think it came out. It didn't come out the way it was supposed to, but it was really just me saying, hey, bro, just a heads up, man. Just focus on your job, man, and do your job, and the rest of the stuff will take care of itself.
Oh, look
Okay.
at the baby.
There's Daddy.
Oh, LaRue, who's this little baby?
You're getting singled out now. You're getting singled out.
Who is that? Who is that?
Oh, hi. Oh, look at how
great.
adorable she is. How old is she?
She is. I don't do the whole months thing. She's, I don't know, a year. Her birthday's December. December.
All you guys just love on her, right? You don't worry about that. It's just love them.
Ken, there was a question in our inbox where it says, how do you remember all 16 grandkids' names? Do you ever get confused?
No, I know them all. You know, it's you know, I'm close to my family, and I've always had it. I don't know if most people know my upbringing, but I didn't. I was in a group home. I didn't have a family. I lived out of a car at a young age. I was in juvenile hall at the age of 10 years old. I was in placement at 13. In and out of placements, 4, 5, 6 different placements, work camps, boot camps, you name it. I was at them. Ended up at Shamrock Boys Home, and then I got adopted. My dad adopted me when I was 18 years old. So you know, I didn't have a family, and I always when I had kids, the one thing that I promised myself is I would never put my kids in a situation where they didn't know what it was to be loved or cared for, or to have an opportunity to be able to think for themselves and be able to work hard and earn what they want. So I really made it a focus, even through my career, to make sure that my kids knew that I loved them and that I was always be there for them. And then it also runs down into my grandkids. You know, I don't want to brag about it, but I'm like, you know, whenever I come around, I'm the papa. Like, they all come to me. I'm a kid, and I'm still a kid. I love playing with my grandkids. I still mess around and roll on the ground with them, and we go to the jump place, a trampoline jump place, and I'm in there playing with them and going off these things. And I'm even pushing kids out of the way to make sure I get on the rope first.
Ken, you know what? I have to ask you, because I know Pat was really excited to have, like, so you guys could talk and connect again, because he's like, oh, I haven't talked to him in a while. And so I'm really sad about that. So I'm really hoping that maybe we can bring you guys together again somehow, some way. If you'll ever come back on again.
Oh, of course we can get Ken back on again. We'll work it out.
We're going to be launching our Valor show September 18th at Forebears.
Yes.
We're going to make that announcement soon. So working through the contracts. Tuesday, I'll be signing the agreement with Forebears. So we're thinking about a couple other places that we've been talking with for our third and fourth show. So when we do that, we'd love to come on and be able to talk about the fight card and talk about the venue.
Yes, we would love
absolutely,
that.
Absolutely, Ken, dude. We'll get you on. We'll get some of the fighters on. We'll get Pat on, regardless if it's here on Racheal's show or one of the other programs. Definitely, we'll.
Hey Ken, when you make those announcements and you have like something that you're sharing, can you, like, for some reason when I go to your Instagram, I can't share anything, and I think it's not following me. And I don't know if that's a social media thing, but you were following me at one time on my really big account, but then like my big account went away because I spoke too much truth. So I lost that account.
That's a problem anymore.
Yeah, I would like to be able to share and promote some things with you guys if that's possible.
Yeah, I'd love to. Do you know my Ken Shamrock email?
I'll shoot it over to her.
Yeah, if you guys need to get a hold of me there, and we'll get whatever we have to do. We'll get you hooked up.
That would be awesome. And maybe I know Steve and I were talking about actually taking, maybe bringing the podcast out to your show and doing a live show there.
Yeah, I don't know, because we might be doing, and I don't know this for sure, but we might be doing the world's most dangerous podcast there live.
Oh,
okay.
You guys
hey.
Yeah, so if you guys are there and you want to do it, we might be able to set that up maybe a couple days before the event.
Okay.
If you want, but just get a hold of me through that my email, and we'll see if we can't set something up there.
All right.
That would be on. Hey, you know what, LaRue? I have got to say, and I've been wanting to say this all night. How many people tell you look like T.I.?
I was just about to say that. He sounds like my track star from high school. He sounds like from high school, but he looked like T.I.
You're like, yo, what's going on with the new Ant-Man movie? When that's coming out, brother?
I know, right?
Now I get that a lot.
You can do a stunt double.
I mean, you just spotted a brother that's T.I.
I mean, get that money. I'll be hitting them up like, yo, I get this a lot, man. I want to be your stunt double, bro. Let's do it.
I'm too big to be a stunt.
Hey, cameras, man, they do magic.
Exactly. I was about to say that. You don't know. Stunt doubles don't even be the same body type or size for people sometimes.
No, not at all.
Yeah, he'll walk up, say, I want to be your stunt double, and he'll go, absolutely, bring him up, man. I look good.
Oh my! I had to say it because I'm like, oh my god, he just did like a little smile smirk thing. I'm like, hey, that's T.I.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! So I wasn't the only one who was thinking that, right?
No, that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, man. All right, so as we're a little bit over right here. What I typically want to do is want to throw it over to LaRue. Let him give his shout outs, give his love. We'll give it back to Ken, and then we'll wrap this thing one up. All right. LaRue,
Huh?
Go ahead, brother.
Go ahead, T.I.
You can get
I'm
me
just
at LaRue Burley on all my social media, Twitter, Facebook, IG. It's just LaRue Burley. Look for me fighting XFC welterweight final here August 6th. I'll be on FS2. Tune in and watch. I appreciate you guys having me.
Oh, we are so honored to have you. We would love to have you come back on again, especially after
It's definitely
your
a
fight.
pleasure,
Let's talk
man,
about
dude,
it.
and also let Reed know appreciate him as always, man.
Yes.
Hey, thank you guys.
All right,
Thank
LaRue.
you.
Yep.
Have a good weekend.
All right, that was LaRue Burley, and now we're left with the one and only Ken Shamrock. Ken, we've done this before, man. Really appreciate the time, man. Glad I could finally kind of sit down and talk with you a little bit. We're definitely gonna do this again soon. Have you back on here, talk some BKFC, Valor BKFC. Ken Shamrock, we got like he said, fam. He's got some announcements coming up, signing some dates, getting everything locked down real soon. Make sure you're checking out his social media accounts for those announcements. As I just did with LaRue, Ken, kind of throw the floor over to you and let the people know.
Wait. I got one quick question.
One
quick question. Okay. I have Fight TV, or what is that thing that I signed up for a year? I don't know what the hell I did. Look, I don't know.
Yeah, the Fight TV. Yeah.
Okay.
The app.
So will you have your site? Will you guys be available on that? I paid for the whole year, darn it.
Yeah, we just talked to them this morning, and so we told them our dates, and so we're locking in a deal with them.
Yes. I didn't waste a whole year's worth.
I told you it was gonna be worth it. She didn't want to listen to me. I told you they're gonna have everything. And Cromer's got one for you. I'm gonna double up on this one. When are you coming back to Philly and doing a signing, man?
I don't know. I know that I would say probably the next 3 or 4 months, possibly might be back up there again with another signing. Actually, a couple signings, but we'll have to wait and see because I don't make a commitment that far out. But there's some opportunities for me to be up there in about 3 months.
Yeah. Well, even if you're not, let me know where I can send some stuff because I want to send some stuff for, not just for me. I want to give some stuff out for the next time we have you on. I want to do a giveaway for the fam. Whoever's going to tune in is going to get a Ken Shamrock autograph.
Hey, Steve, I'm going to be fighting with you. He's not going to Philly before he comes.
Uh-oh.
Well, you're going out there to the event and you're going to beat me anyway to it.
Where at?
Chicago, Illinois.
More specifically, Yorkville.
Now you're going to come out here first. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes. Chicago, I don't know. I haven't really done anything out there in a while.
Oh, we're gonna have to hook you up.
See, that's why Philly's the best. It's because we got the ECW arena right down in the city.
Whatever.
It's close to New York. It's close to New Jersey. We got it all.
New York. Don't even talk about New York. I'll go off on New York. anyway.
As Mike was saying, he hopes he sees you in the Icons of Wrestling in September. If that's something you go wind up getting booked with.
Yeah, like I said, I go to quite a bit of them. So, and since we're getting ready to get this Valor BK going too, we're looking to be traveling a lot of different places and promoting in a lot of different ways.
That's awesome.
Chicago,
Definitely love to hear it.
I don't think anybody's trying to go.
If that's it, can we wrap it up and let Ken go?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna throw it over to you, Ken. Let the people know what's going on. Let everything that's going on with the fights, everything, social media, any charities, anything like that. The time is yours, my friend.
Cool. Well, first of all, I want to thank all the other guests that were on. Really did enjoy LaRue. He hung in there. So we got to talk quite a bit. So I appreciated him. Good luck in his fight. I wish him the best. Hope him and his opponent go out there and tear it up. And they come out safe. Yeah, I got a fight coming up, not as a fighter, but as a promoter at Valor BK, September 18th at Four Bears Casino. That's not a done deal yet, but it's pretty close to being that. So we'll be making an announcement to make it official. When we do that, please hit me up on my social media sites that you can find on KenShamrock.com. It's my website. It's got all my social media sites on there. You can connect to those, and you can stay tuned for everything that we've got going on, King Shamrock and Valor, through my website. And I appreciate you guys having me on, and thank you.
Oh, we love you, Ken.
It's definitely a pleasure, Ken. And like I said, I'll definitely be hitting you back up. I want to send some things out to you to sign, and we're gonna, when you have you on, do some giveaways for the loyal listeners, for the people,
Cool, appreciate it.
All right. Other than that, appreciate the time. God bless, Ken, and we'll have you back on here again soon.
All right, man. You guys take care, man.
Thanks, Ken.
Take it easy.
All right, everyone. That was the one and only Mr. Ken Shamrock. This was a fun one.
Oh my god, that was awesome.
And even though the thing that we'll get Pat back on with him when we do everything with Valor PK. Like I said, we're gonna get this thing going. And like I said, between what the wrestling guys do and what we're going on, Cromer just said it, 110%, man. Everything Ken does is 110%. Like you hear him, he's getting ready to do the Valor BKFC. He's already working on 3 different venues, 3 different locations. He's going to be doing the autograph signing. He runs around like crazy people like we do here over on A2D. So we're definitely going to have some signed stuff, some signed shirts, some signed something. I don't know what I'm going to figure out for you guys, but
in Chicago, right? Yeah,
in Chicago.
Well, that means you just got to travel a little bit once you figure out what the dates are. That's all it means, Racheal. That's all it means.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with traveling. I'm just not going to fly because I'm hearing pilots dropping out of the air and shit. No, I don't think I'll be flying anytime soon. But I'll be driving. I'm down for a road trip.
Other than that, I guess the only other thing is, dude, just let the fam know, like some of the other stuff that's going on with the with everything.
That sounds perfect.
This was so much fun, you guys. Wait till next Friday. I'm talking to Lorenzo
What are you going to?
Hunt tomorrow. He said to call him. So we're going to get him scheduled probably this Friday if I can get him on. So he apologized. He wanted everybody to know he was busy with BK this weekekend. So
yeah, we still love him.
We love him.
We still love Lorenzo, and the same thing with Pat. We understand, daddy-daughter time is very important.
Yes.
So I'm not gonna give him any hate for that. Real quick, the fam again. Manscaped is now officially a sponsor for us here on A2D Radio. Make sure you head over to manscaped.com. 20% off free shipping with code A2D. Unlock your confidence, guys. Make sure you're taking care of the nethers for your ladies here. I'm also running a giveaway involved with it. Anyone who uses the code, make sure you send me.
This is actually
available for us. Hopefully, we can achieve.
Yeah, I know. Rachel wants the ladies' skate to go with the manscape.
Yeah.
Well, they already got toners and they got foot creams and everything, so foot sprays and everything, so they got a little bit of everything.
Like a shaving.
Oh my!
Appreciate the love as always, Cromer. Appreciate the love. If you guys haven't checked out, Cromer interviewed D'Lo Brown this afternoon, so make sure you're heading over on YouTube and check out his interview from this afternoon. What's up?
Steve, the weigh-ins for BKFC. Oh my God, dude, you gotta watch those. Dude, fucking hit.
Dude, did you see Brandon Lambert and freaking Diesel Riggs almost got in a fight?
Yes! He was like, I was like, what?
Oh my God. I love this sport. That's all I gotta say, guys. If you haven't tuned in to BKFC or any type of combat sports lately, tune in a little bit. You might want to check out the one tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, I'm all over it.
We got. I mean, we I've had Joe on an older show before, way back in the past, but he's got a big one. Pearl's gonna be making her BKFC debut. That should be a fun fight.
Her little thong with her pearls. I'm like, okay, Pearl. Okay, Pearl.
You got Joey Beltran's gonna be going for the title. You got Mr. Goodjohn is gonna be fighting. It's gonna be a fun event, people. So if you haven't checked it out, tune it in. Make sure you are. Again, this was another fun one. Rachel, anything you want to add before we wrap this one up?
I just want to tell everybody what a great show, and I really wasn't that nervous. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
And programming note, fam, to our wrestling peoples, anyone who might be hanging around, Mike is going to be talking to the one, the only, the franchise Shane Douglas tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Make sure you set those reminders. Pound that subscribe button. Pound that notification bell.
Pound what?
I said pound the subscribe button.
That's what she said.
Hey, listen, you're gonna be pounding son. I'm gonna be pounding the end of this broadcast button now. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, guys, next Friday.
Yeah.